Warriors! In 1964, Ronald Reagan gave us a stern warning. My name is Coach JV. I am the top health and mindset coach in the world. What you believe in your heart, you think in your mind, will eventually become your words and become your reality. If you can see it in your mind, you can eventually hold it in your hands. And what you repeatedly do gets ingrained right here in your subconscious mind. What gets ingrained in your subconscious mind eventually becomes an unconscious activity. And all the thoughts, actions, and behaviors up to now is the current reality that you're experiencing. So if you want to change your life, change your thoughts, change your environment, and so on and so on. It's very simple, warriors. Now, I'm not asking you to believe a word I say. What I am asking you to do is to get out a fishing pole and fish. If you give a man or woman a fish, they eat for a day. If you give them a fishing pole, they eat for a lifetime. As my boy William says, you teach a person how to farm, they will feed a nation. Now, we're going to jump right into it today, warriors. You may be new to my channel, so make sure you go to CoachJV_. Follow me on Instagram, where you can follow my warrior journey. I believe in God. I follow the life of Jesus. I am non-religious. I accept everybody. I don't care what religion you are. All I care is we lock arm in arm and we move into this quantum financial system and we bring the money back to the people. I'm the coach who teaches people how to create freedom. Free your dome. So if you make it to the end of the video, I'll explain how I've done that for thousands of people worldwide. All right, let's kick it off. So I'm the guy, yes, we're in the crypto space. I'm going to teach you crypto. I'm not going to talk about price predictions or how you're going to get rich in crypto. Some people are going to become very, very wealthy in crypto. The ones that have emotional intelligence and understand the market. Because if everybody was to get rich and stay rich, we wouldn't be in the situation we're in. You have to understand the game so you can't be played. Now I'm going to show you a video from 1964 from President Ronald Reagan. And I'm going to take you all the way to where we're at in 2021. Now, I've been sharing you guys the game for a very long time. Now, I'm going to break down Ronald Reagan's warning to us. We're going to watch the whole video. It's about 4 minutes, so bear with me. Then we're going to go into the president that came after Ronald Reagan. Then we're going to talk about what happened in 1971. And then we're going to fast forward to 2021. And then I'm going to explain to you, from my perspective, what this has to do with crypto and how you can set yourself up and your family for generational wealth. All right, here we go, warriors.
The issue of this election. Whether we believe in our capacity for self-government or whether we abandon the American Revolution and confess that a little intellectual elite in a far distant capital can plan our lives for us better than we can plan them ourselves. Now it does.
He said a little few intellectual elite can plan our lives better than us, the 1%.
Doesn't require expropriation or confiscation of private property or business to impose socialism on a people. What does it mean whether you hold the deed or the title to your business or property, if the government holds the power of life and death over that business or property? And such machinery already exists. The government can find some charge to bring against any concern it chooses to prosecute. Every businessman has his own tale of harassment. Somewhere a perversion has taken place. Our natural unalienable rights are now considered to be a dispensation of government, and freedom has never been so fragile, so close to slipping from our grasp as it is at this moment. Well, I think it's time we ask ourselves if we still know the freedoms that were intended for us by the Founding Fathers. Not too long ago, two friends of mine were talking to a Cuban refugee, a businessman who had escaped from Castro. And in the midst of his story, one of my friends turned to the other and said, "We don't know how lucky we are." And the Cuban stopped and said, "How lucky you are. I had some place to escape to." And in that sentence, he told us the entire story. If we lose freedom here, there's no place to escape to. This is the last stand on earth. And this idea that government is beholden to the people, that it has no other source of power except the sovereign people, is still the newest and the most unique idea in all the long history of man's relation to man. This is the issue of this election. Whether we believe in our capacity for self-government or whether we abandon the American Revolution and confess that a little intellectual elite in a far distant capital can plan our lives for us better than we can plan them ourselves. You and I are told increasingly we have to choose between a left or right.
Did you hear that? He repeated twice. Now listen to what he's about to say.
Well, I'd like to suggest there is no such thing as a left or right. There's only an up or down. Man's old age dream, the ultimate in individual freedom consistent with law and order, or down to the ant heap of totalitarianism. And regardless of their sincerity, their humanitarian motives, those who would trade our freedom for security have embarked on this downward course. In this vote harvesting time, they use terms like the Great Society, Or, as we were told a few days ago by the President, we must accept a greater government activity in the affairs of the people. But they've been a little more explicit in the past. And among themselves, and all of the things I now will quote have appeared in print. These are not Republican accusations. For example, they have voices that say the Cold War will end through our acceptance of a not undemocratic socialism. Another voice says the profit motive has become outmoded. It must be replaced by the incentives of the welfare state. Or
hear what he just said? Be replaced by the incentives of the welfare state. We are heading towards UBI.
Our traditional system of individual freedom is incapable of solving the complex problems of the 20th century. Senator Fulbright has said at Stanford University that the Constitution is outmoded. He referred to the President as our moral teacher and our leader, and he says he is hobbled in his task by the restrictions of power imposed on him by this antiquated document. He must be freed so that he can do for us what he knows is best. And Senator Clark of Pennsylvania, another articulate spokesman, defines liberalism as meeting the material needs of the masses through the full power of centralized government. Well, I, for one, resent it when a representative of the people refers to you and me, the free men and women of this country, as the masses. This is a term we haven't applied to ourselves in America. But beyond that, the full power of centralized government, this was the very thing the Founding Fathers sought to minimize. They knew that governments don't control things. A government can't control the economy without controlling people. And they know when a government sets out to do that, it must use force and coercion to achieve its purpose. They also knew, those Founding Fathers, that outside of its legitimate functions, government does nothing as well or as economically as the private sector of the economy.
Is that not so true that what we're going through today, Warriors? President Ronald Reagan warned us.
Regulation after regulation.
After that warning, who came into presidency? 1971. So 1971, we had that warning from Ronald Reagan in 1964, I think that was. And then in 1969, we had President Richard Nixon come into presidency. And during his presidency in 1971, and what we're experiencing right now is a printing machine. So President Nixon ends convertibility of the U.S. dollar to gold and announces wage price controls. Now, what is Jerome Powell doing right now? He is using interest rates, okay? They're using interest rates for wage price control. So with inflation on the rise and gold run looming, President Richard Nixon's team enacted a plan to end the dollar convertibility to gold and implementing wage price controls, which soon brought the end of the Bretton Woods system. Now, in 1971, he detached from the gold standard, and from that point on, we became a printing machine. Now, remember, in 1971, January, the World Economic Forum was created by Klaus Schwab. So now what we're experiencing is what they call the Great Reset, right? Klaus Schwab has coined that phrase over and over again. They tout that we're in a massive Great Reset right now. I feel in my heart that this was created the moment we're living right now, the switch to a new economic system, the quantum financial system, the fourth industrial revolution, was beginning in 1971. In 1996, they were already starting to work on cryptography protocols at MIT. We have Gary Gensler, who's the head of the SEC, who is a professor at MIT for cryptocurrency. You had Jay Clayton, who threw out the SEC lawsuit, and now Gary Gensler takes over the SEC for a short amount of time to fulfill his tenure. You had Brian Brooks, who was the head legal counsel at Coinbase, who became the head of our OCC for a short amount of time, federally chartered the first cryptocurrency bank. And now, ironically, Coinbase has now hit the NASDAQ. And now, here we are in 2021 when President Ronald Reagan warned us in 1964. I think that was 1964, right? 1964, okay? Now, we got Fed Chair Powell, Jerome Powell, warning you, I'm going to share this video with you again, warning you that we're heading to a new economy. And then he was on 60 Minutes, preemptive programming. Now, your grandma, your mom and dad, who watch things like 60 Minutes, are being predictive and preemptive programmed to cryptocurrency. Now let's watch this video first, so we've seen a million times. I'm going to keep showing you guys because what you repeatedly do gets ingrained in your subconscious mind. What gets ingrained in your subconscious mind becomes an unconscious activity. So we're going to play this one. He's going to tell us where we're heading. I'm going to show you 60 Minutes where they're programming your parents and the baby boomers, and then we're going to say, who is the hero?
And this will lead to certain changes in economies. There are firms that will never recover from the crisis. There are potentially sectors that may never recover from the crisis. We won't be traveling as much, for example. What worries you most about the long-term impact?
I would agree that what this crisis is in the process of doing is it is accelerating a lot of pre-existing technological change. So technological change raises productivity generally, and over long periods of time, those gains tend to be broadly shared. But in the short term, that may or may not be the case. And I along with many others, will leave social media out of it, by the way, in terms of adding to productivity. Not sure I would say that for social media. But for other kinds of technology, I would say it. And in this particular situation, I would worry that the changes, we're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy. And it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers who, as Andrew just mentioned, it's relatively low-paid, public-facing workers in the service sector who are bearing the brunt. This is largely minorities and women, or skewed toward minorities and women, and relatively low-paid. So those people are going.
Ronald Reagan was talking about that in 1964, where he's referring to you guys as the masses. The masses are going to have to rely on the government. UBI, Universal Basic Income, it's already started in Oakland for minorities, right? They specifically said they're going to be giving $500 checks to minorities within that area. And you're going to continue to get stimulus checks. You've already gotten 3 checks from the government. You can get your PPI. There's just money coming out of the sky. You're in a low interest rate environment. Your lumber prices have doubled. Inflation is going up. It's literally a financial trap. Warriors are going to keep you in a debt-based system. Okay, so predictive programming. Here's how you know that cryptocurrency is on its way. Now, this is a U.S. digital dollar. I want to make this very clear. A digital dollar is very different than a paper dollar. Okay, a paper dollar you have control of somewhat. You really don't have control over it. But in a digital dollar, when they put that into your account, a Fed account, right? So they're supporting you with UBI. They can deflate the money in your account with low interest rates or negative interest rates, and that forces you to go buy a house or go buy products, goods, and services because you don't want to waste your money. And then when you go buy a house, the lumber prices have doubled. So it's called inflation, right? It's an inflation trap. There's a debt-based trap, and it keeps you in this rat race over and over and over again. And the only way to break free is to create freedom, is to use a different financial system that they're using to get rich. Okay, so let's watch them on 60 Minutes. Now your grandparents are being predictive programmed to the U.S. digital dollar and cryptocurrency.
The Chinese last month unveiled the world's first digital currency from a major power. Currency that would not be printed but would exist only in cyberspace on your phone, for example. Is the Fed working on a digital dollar?
We are actually evaluating that. Most major countries are now looking at the possibility of having a digital currency and really asking the question, in our very modern advanced economy with a fast, efficient, full-blown payment system, would adding a digital currency, a form of digital currency, would it actually benefit the public that we serve? That's the question that we're asking. We're working very hard on that. We're also doing quite a lot of technological experiment. I mean, technology has made this a possible thing, and so we feel it's our obligation to understand it. How would it work? What would the features of it be? There are many subtle and difficult policy choices and design choices that you'd have to make. We're doing all that work. We have not.
Let's stop for just a moment. It's our responsibility to understand it. MIT, the elites, MIT, has been working on cryptography since 1996. By chance, your government, this gentleman talking here, the presidency, put the professor at MIT for cryptocurrency in charge of the SEC? We're just tipping around. We're not doing much with it.
Made a decision to do this because, again, the question is, will this benefit the people that we serve? And we need to answer that question well. And we need to involve the public and Congress deeply in that process because it would be an important step if we were to do this.
But given the fact that the final decision hasn't been made, you are doing, if I understand you correctly, software development, even graphic design on what a digital dollar would look like and act like.
Yes, we're doing lots and lots of work. We're doing.
Holmes just got caught lying. He's like, wait a minute, you're just doubling around, but you've already done design work, you've already done technology work. Yeah, but we're just designing logos and stuff. No big deal.
Stuff jointly with with other central banks. We're doing things at the Boston Fed, and many of the regional Feds have little projects going on. Here at the board, we have a group of people who are doing software development and that kind of thing. This is really just table stakes. This is understanding the technology and the possibilities so that you can really address the policy issues.
You think it's likely?
I think it's possible, is all I would say. You've seen many other countries like ours, well-off countries like ours, that are looking at it seriously. In some of those countries, the use of cash has declined precipitously. That is not the case here. Americans still like to use cash. So it's something that'll be decided based on the situation here in the United States.
Are you considering a digital dollar in order to compete with the cryptocurrencies that are out there already, like Bitcoin?
That's not the principal reason, I wouldn't say. It is a fact that there are private sector currencies, stable coins, and cryptocurrencies as well. Those are not at a level or a scale that is concerning at this point. Really, the fundamental question for us is, if we add this, will that help the public? Will the public be better off? And will there be any negatives too? Will that have perhaps unexpected effects in other parts of the financial system that we need to consider in weighing the costs and benefits of this? We're the world's reserve currency. The dollar is so important. We need to get this right. We do not need to be the first ones to do this. We want to get it right. And
now remember, the U.S. dollar, the only reason it has value is because of your confidence in it. Remember, your confidence, it's backed by nothing. The reason it has value, and it has very little value left, and we're the world's reserve currency, and if we're about to collapse, and China's already launched their CBDC, central bank digital currency, and also in 2022, they're going to launch it to their public 100%. They want to launch it by the Winter Olympics this year. Think about that, Warriors. Think about that. That guy called them out from 60 Minutes. He said, oh, you have logos, and you're developing all this stuff, and isn't that... That's weird. You guys are just dabbling around in it. So here's what I think is going to happen, Warriors. I think that we're going to have a massive bull run. I know that we're going to have a massive bull run this year in the cryptocurrency space. There's going to be mass adoption from institutions. Institutions are moving into cryptocurrency. The retail investors are moving in. Coinbase hit the NASDAQ. This is just the couple of years. The next couple of years is to legitimize it. Yes, we're going to have a massive bull run, price appreciation. And if you know the game, you can make some really good profits during this bull run. If you don't, you're going to get wrecked. There's two types of people. You can hold all the way through, and what I think is going to happen in 2025, which I'm teaching my Warriors, is when I believe the true institutional adoption is going to come. There's going to be banks. By the time you get to 2025, your banking system is going to look different. By 2030, your world is going to look different. And by 2050, your world is going to be completely unrecognizable. And one of the things you're going to be operating on is a central bank digital currency. You're going to be using cryptocurrency. You're going to be transacting financials just like you do in email wars. So I believe that XRP is going to be a bridge currency for the world. And we continue to get new things. SEC loses battle to win the war. Ripple disassociates from pumping XRP. Well, the defendants may have gained an edge on the pretrial rulings of the SEC and Ripple Labs. Are Ripple's legal troubles now over? When the United States Securities and Exchange Commission filed a legal action against Ripple Labs and its top two executives in December, alleged XRP coin was in the fact a security and that the firm had raised over $1.3 billion. We know all that stuff. Some exchanges delisted XRP. Some asset managers sold their XRP tokens. XRP had lost its place in the top three cryptocurrencies in market capitalization and was even looking like it could drop from the top 10, but reports Ripple demise were exaggerated. As the mid-April, XRP has increased 532% over the previous 12 months, and things also took favorable turn recently in the SEC lawsuit, with the defendants prevailing in two discovery rulings, even turning the tables on the regulatory agency by winning access to the SEC's internal memos and minutes with regard to crypto discussion. The SEC is now on trial, and it knows it. The tables have turned, Warriors, and I'm telling you what, this is going to be a catalyst moment, not only in cryptocurrency, but in history. And I don't think it's by chance that they call it the Phoenix. I don't think it's by chance that they have an eagle right here. I don't think it's by chance that the Phoenix rises from the ashes. XRP is going to be a massive part, in my opinion, not a financial advisor, not financial advice, in our new ecosystem on how we do finances. Cryptocurrency is going to be the new economic system, and those who get in early are going to be very, very wealthy. But also, you have to know the game so you can be played. Emotional intelligence. For example, Saturday, a bunch of people got dumped on. They didn't have emotional intelligence. They come flying out of the marketplace. You have to have diamond hands. As a true investor, you buy the blood in the streets and you sell the euphoria. You don't do what the 99% does. The key is to become the uncommon 1%. Warriors. So what we have done is we created a Warrior Academy with thousands of warriors worldwide where we support, not a perfect program, but it is a program that there's nothing like no other in the world. We have over 1,000 warriors working together in the quantum financial system, education, cryptocurrency calls, technical analysis calls, a Discord. You have subconscious mind programming around wealth, exercise, nutrition, really aligning yourself so you can make good decisions. I host a cryptocurrency call every single Thursday. We have a technical analysis call on Friday. You have access to my portfolio, not financial advice, not a financial advisor. We have one of the best exit strategies in the marketplace so you understand the game so you can move out and build an ironclad fortress around you to build generational wealth. My whole portfolio is hedged against the US dollar collapsing so that I could build generational wealth from my children to their children to their children. So if you want to be part of one of the best, most caring, loving, most transparent communities in the world, click the link down below. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at CoachJB_ and look up my podcast, the Coach JB Podcast. Warriors, rise. If you're still here, you're a true warrior.